The Pittsburgh Steelers have been considered the overwhelming favorites to sign Aaron Rodgers for several weeks. The rumors began swirling when it was reported that Rodgers had been in contact with Steelers personnel and had shown interest in potentially continuing his legendary career in Pittsburgh. That excitement only grew when fans witnessed Rodgers throwing passes to new Steelers wide receiver DK Metcalf during a private session. Then came the photos of Rodgers visiting the Steelers facility, talking with Mike Tomlin, and reportedly engaging in long discussions about the team's culture and offensive vision. But even with all of that momentum, Rodgers has yet to put pen to paper. The future Hall of Famer remains unsigned, and the Steelers remain in limbo, holding a spot open for a quarterback who may never commit. The clock is ticking louder by the day, and with the 2025 NFL Draft less than 2 weeks away, Pittsburgh is rapidly approaching a point of no return. The Steelers have always prided themselves on being a franchise of stability. They don't chase chaos. They don't operate in panic mode. And they certainly don't enjoy being left in the dark. Yet, that's exactly where they find themselves now, trapped in a holding pattern as they wait for a 41-year-old quarterback to decide whether or not he wants to suit up in black and gold. For Rodgers, the decision is obviously more complex than it appears on the surface. He's coming off a devastating Achilles injury that derailed his 2024 season with the New York Jets before it even began. The rehab has been grueling, and the mental toll of back-to-back seasons filled with media attention, injuries, and unfulfilled expectations may be weighing heavily on him. Retirement is certainly a possibility. But so is one final shot at glory, with a historic franchise that still believes it's just a quarterback away from legitimate Super Bowl contention. Rodgers is one of the most talented passers to ever play the game. His resume is legendary, a Super Bowl champion, 4-time league MVP, and the owner of some of the most efficient passing seasons in NFL history. If healthy, he could elevate the Steelers' offense to new heights. Pairing him with a new-look receiving core featuring Metcalf, George Pickens, and tight end Pat Freiermuth could result in fireworks. Add in a revamped offensive line and a resurgent Najee Harris in the backfield, and Pittsburgh could have one of the most balanced offenses in the AFC. But there's a risk in waiting. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin and general manager Omar Khan know this. They've seen the cost of hesitation in the NFL, an ultra-competitive league where roster decisions ripple through seasons. If they invest more time and energy into Rodgers only to see him retire or sign with another team, perhaps the 49ers, who've quietly been monitoring the situation, they'll be left with few options. Worse yet, they could miss out on top-tier quarterback prospects in the upcoming draft. This leads to a critical question that the Steelers must answer very soon. How long is too long to wait for Aaron Rodgers? The draft is fast approaching, and while Pittsburgh has multiple needs, quarterback is undeniably at the top of the list. The idea of investing in a young, dynamic signal caller has been floated by analysts, insiders, and even members of the Steelers' own staff. Names like Shedeur Sanders, Colorado, and Jackson Dart, Ole Miss, continue to surface as potential first-round targets. Sanders, the son of NFL Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, has tremendous poise, mobility, and arm talent. Dart, meanwhile, has shown flashes of brilliance in the SEC and offers a strong frame with NFL-caliber mechanics. Drafting a quarterback would be a commitment to the future, but it would also be a clear signal that Pittsburgh is done waiting. However, there's another scenario quietly gaining traction. If the Steelers decide they can no longer rely on Rodgers' indecisiveness, but they also aren't fully sold on any of the top quarterback prospects in the draft, they could pivot to a short-term veteran solution. And that's where Kirk Cousins enters the picture. Daniel Blackham of the Mirror recently suggested that Cousins could be a viable option for Pittsburgh if the team grows tired of Rodgers' delay. The Steelers are still in limbo when it comes to the quarterback position, with former Super Bowl champion Aaron Rodgers yet to make a decision over his future, Blackham wrote. The former New York Jet is still a free agent and has kept all interested teams waiting for his next move. Pittsburgh had expected to be the only team still in the running for him, due to the fact they still don't have a starting QB for next season. If Rodgers opts to retire, Pittsburgh could be tempted to make a move for Cousins instead. Cousins, of course, is no stranger to being viewed as the fallback option. His entire career has been marked by debates about whether or not he's good enough to lead a team deep into the playoffs. And while he may lack the mystique and elite playmaking of Rodgers, what he does bring is reliability, leadership, and veteran savvy. In 2024, Cousins suited up for the Atlanta Falcons and delivered a solid season. He completed 66.9% of his passes for 3,508 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions in 14 games. While the turnovers were a concern, his overall command of the offense and ability to distribute the football effectively cannot be ignored. The Falcons fell short of expectations as a team, but Cousins remained one of the more consistent figures in their locker room. For Pittsburgh, he could be exactly what they need in 2025, a 1- or 2-year bridge quarterback who provides stability while a younger option is groomed behind the scenes. That could come in the form of a mid-round draft pick or even a developmental prospect from the current roster. It's also worth noting that Cousins would be walking into a much stronger infrastructure in Pittsburgh than he had in Atlanta. The Steelers' defense is stacked with talent, led by T.J. Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and a physical front seven that can keep games close. Offensively, with the arrival of DK Metcalf, the continued growth of Pickens, and a coaching staff eager to open up the playbook, Cousins would have more than enough tools to operate efficiently. Financially, Cousins wouldn't break the bank the same way Rodgers might. His deal could be structured to offer flexibility, allowing Pittsburgh to continue adding depth across the roster. It would also leave the door open for a future quarterback transition without the complications that come with a massive, long-term contract. Still, no matter how logical Cousins may appear, he's not the dream scenario. That title still belongs to Aaron Rodgers. And unless or until Rodgers formally retires or signs elsewhere, Steelers fans and brass alike will hold on to hope that the future Hall of Famer walks through their doors as QB1. But hope can only last so long. The NFL is a business, and decisions must be made. If Rodgers continues to delay his decision into draft week, the Steelers may be forced to make a bold pivot. That could mean pulling the trigger on a quarterback in the first round. It could mean calling Cousins' agent. Or it could even mean re-engaging with free agents like Ryan Tannehill or exploring trades for lesser-known options. The bottom line is this: Pittsburgh can no longer afford to stand still. Rodgers has earned the right to take his time, but the Steelers have earned the right to move forward. The franchise has too much on the line, too much young talent, too much momentum, too many fans hungry for a return to glory, to be left hanging in quarterback purgatory. If Rodgers signs, it could change everything. The Steelers would immediately become contenders in the AFC. Their offense would carry a level of swagger and execution that's been missing in recent years. The national spotlight would return to Heinz Field. And Mike Tomlin could finally chase another Lombardi with a quarterback who's been there before. But if he walks away, then it's time for the Steelers to pivot. To draft. To adapt. To build something new, starting now. Because in the NFL, windows close fast. And the one in Pittsburgh won't stay open forever.